We're back.
And we are back. Part 3/4 of Salt and Streets, episode 144.
Pause button. Pause button. One more time. Now we're back. You have audio.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Donovan. Salt
I'm
of the
Colin.
Streets. Right here is Colin. You've been joining us for episode 144. This is part 3/4/ whatever we want to do because this is our goddamn show.
It's a Playcast special.
That is right. Of course, like, subscribe, share this with your friends, comment, go there, subscribe to the Patreon. $5 gets you the newsletter that we put out every month. Beautiful. And if you inspire me in the comments, I will write about you, as proven by Joseph.
That's right.
So we have two sponsors, so we're going to hit one of them at the beginning this week, and then we'll hit the other one at the end. So we're going to go with Swell Blended for the beginning of this segment. And he's great. He's helping me craft this haircut. I've scheduled 2 haircuts and canceled them both times because I just can't bring myself to quite chop them up. And I actually think I'm going to look into some goddamn hair modeling. See if I can't make some money off of this hair.
Yes, please.
So it's going to be great.
So if you need a hair model, these are the socials.
Yes, that's right. You can find me any of those places, and I will model hair for you. With that, we're gonna have like one serious topic. We're gonna talk about some Ukraine updates, some China, Russia stuff, and then Colin is going to do as he does and guide me through the grab bag. It is one of my favorite segments
It's
that
epic.
we do. Because I'm always surprised. I never know. He keeps it all secret, so I never know what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
It's great.
I have accidentally given away grab bag segments before and then immediately pulled them from the show after I shared them from you. Because I was like, we can't do this now. The surprise is half of the fun.
Yeah.
Although this episode is going to be slightly tamer than normal because I've been dying over the last few days.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah, as you guys know, we missed the last episode because Colin was sick, and then he was back at work, and we're chilling, and we're doing all the stuff, and then
Played soccer.
Thursdays, right? Yeah, even played soccer. Yeah, and then Thursday, fucking just down hard all over again. So
yeah, I got up to another 102.4 fever. Oh,
goddamn.
Yeah, so I'm going to be hanging out with my doctor next week, and we're going to be trying to figure out what's going on here. Did I just get unlucky enough to get like a double fist of like this new? Because this one was different than the last one. The last one was there was like some throat virus going around, and I had it all up in my throat, and it was just terrible. And that came with fever and fun. And then this time it was fever and say GI issues. We'll put it that way.
Well, Yasko's pretty sure that you have COVID. She said that to me on Thursday, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she dropped something in your table, and she's like, "Is he here today?" And I was like, "No, he's not going to be here today." And she's like, "I think he has COVID." I was like, "I don't know about that," She's it's been 12 days that he's had this cough. It's for 3 weeks. 3 weeks she says that he's had this cough. And I said, I don't know, Yasko. I don't know that he has COVID.
Do you want to?
I'm just saying.
Do you want to know something? I did do a test, and I was negative.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any idea. But
for a minute,
sure
I thought I gave myself food poisoning. I've never had food poisoning before. And for a minute, I thought I did, just because like I had cooked something the night before. And, I didn't think about it, but I went to bed kind of feeling like crap anyways. And then that night, I like woke up in the middle of the night, and that's when all the shit really started. And then just days of that. It's just not fun.
If you've ever had food poisoning, let us know in the comments and then tell us what the food was. I got food poisoning from Papa John's one time, and I haven't had Papa John's since then.
You hold your mouth.
I really am. It is what it is. It happens. But yeah, Jordan and I both. It was the two of us. Destroyed us. It was horrific.
That's rough. But yeah. I didn't eat for over an entire day, and then I had some oatmeal yesterday, and then I was really desperate for something, so I had like some instant ramen, and that like hot broth was so good.
Yeah.
But everything's been swimmingly since. I slept for more than 3 hours last night, that was a perk. So I think we're on the end. But yeah, we could tell Yasko, no to the Rona.
Shut up, Fiasco.
That's right. You don't know. You don't know. People can get sick, bro. It's that thing that happens, apparently.
Right.
We all
I
forgot
see all
that
these
during
people, they get sick and then they're posting and like, well, it's not COVID. Like, well, you got sick before fucking 2020, right?
Yeah.
Like, you still got sick sometimes and it wasn't coronavirus.
I
It
do
was
remember.
just fucking being sick.
Yeah, I do remember that we eradicated the flu for an entire year, which was fantastic. I remember that. I don't know what happened to
Yes.
that, but
Did
I
you
remember that
see
was
the video
fantastic.
of Fauci walking around like,
Oh, yes.
and he's talking to that guy, and he even says, he's like, well, virtually no one got it this year. How can you say that and not, as a scientist, and not think there's anything weird with that? That there's a new virus and then just no one gets the fucking flu? What do you
Yeah.
mean? That doesn't even make any sense.
Nah. Yeah, those clips were almost in the grab bag today, but I'm glad they're not, because it was a close
stupid.
call. Those videos have been
fear.
great.
Fear is the real virus.
It was so good. Fear.
Awesome.
Oh, so yeah, let's talk about the end of the world, shall we?
Yeah.
Or
so
perhaps
there's
a
all
new world
kinds of-
order.
That's right, New World Order. There's all kinds of shit going on in Ukraine, right? So let's go over some things that we can remember. Russia's working on their new mobilization, Ukraine as well.
Yep.
And now there's actually stories coming out where they're saying, Ukraine is having trouble finding people for its new mobilization.
Really?
Which is going to be justification for these videos that we're seeing of people being literally stolen off of the street so they can be brought to the front lines to fight. The same type of stuff is happening in Russia because those people don't actually want to be fighting in this war. This is just two different governments that are two different government structures that are fighting.
Yeah.
World orders, I guess you could say, because it's just okay
Perhaps.
to say that type of thing now. It's just two different world orders that are competing for how the things should be done across the globe. Let's see. We had fighter jets from Slovakia and
That's
from
right.
Poland that
Yep.
are going to be going to Ukraine.
Yeah, I think a total of like 13.
Yeah, Xi Jinping visited Russia,
Yes.
supposedly to try and advocate for peace. The Prime Minister of Japan visited Ukraine and committed a little bit of military assistance and then a bunch of energy security money. So,
riddle me that
also
one.
there was the new report that came out about what is it, the Nord Stream, right?
Yes.
That we're saying now it was just a total third party that did it.
Yeah,
right?
it was a pro-Ukrainian, third
Right.
party. They definitely did that.
Yeah, just a random pro-Ukrainian group that doesn't have anything to do with the United States government or the Ukrainian government or any government at all. It's just people who got onto a yacht and they went and they had the equipment and the means and the security know-how to covertly go to a portion of the Nord Stream pipeline that was just happened to be so located in a particular spot that it wasn't in anyone's real, national waters. And they went down and they exploded it.
Definitely.
And no one knew about it before or after.
It definitely
still
seems like
can't-
the most logical conclusion.
Yeah. And we still can't find out who it was.
Yeah.
We just know they definitely loved Ukraine.
And this is also the first time that award-winning journalist Seymour Hersh definitely lied about a government corruption scandal that
Yep.
he reported on. First time. Yeah.
They really think you're this dumb. They really do think you're this dumb, and that's why they say shit like this. Is because they're just willing to accept it. They really do think that you're this stupid, and you owe it to yourself to tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yes.
It's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard.
Yeah, I think when you take the most logical route, they're not lying when they say a pro-Ukrainian third party exploded the Nord Stream pipeline, because the United States is a pro-Ukrainian third party to this war, are they not?
Yeah.
Imagine that. We can lie without lying completely. We just omit the truth, because if we were okay, let's say this. Let's just for funsies. We go to full-on World War III, and one thing leads to another. Do you think we're ever going to admit that we did it?
No, it will be something that comes out in documents
Like a
decades
Gulf
from
of
now.
Tonkin
The
thing?
same deal as same deal as Gulf of Tonkin, precisely. That we'll never ever say that we did that. And even now, if you press the government on it, they would never admit to Gulf of Tonkin. Even though their own documents say they did it, they're
That's
like,
true.
that's an inaccurate depiction of what those documents reveal,
Yeah.
is what they would say.
And
So
what was the main government that was involved in like the investigation? Was it the Norwegian? I don't remember which one it was. They were like taking the lead on it, and they were like, "It's all classified documents. They're not sharing it with anybody."
over Nord Stream,
Yeah. Do you remember what
yeah,
nation it was?
I think it was Norway.
So, like, what's the capital of Norway?
Oslo?
We'll say Oslo. Yeah, it'll be the Oslo. It'll be the Oslo files when they come out, or the Oslo
Yeah.
papers, like the Panama Papers. It'll be the Oslo papers. That's when we'll
Hopefully
find
that
out.
city is actually in Norway.
I hope
I
so.
fucking don't know at all.
Damn it! Now I want to look it up. I gotta go to
Yeah.
capital of Denmark, of Norway,
Norway.
Capital of Norway is
I-
Oslo. You did it, buddy. Good job. So
Wow.
yeah, in about 25 to 30 years, well, it's 2x 25, right? So 50 years from
Right.
now, we'll get the Oslo papers coming out.
Yeah. In my fucking late 70s, maybe I'll finally find out who bombed Nord Stream for sure.
And we're like, I could die happy now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Although by the time you're 70, we're not dying until we're like $140, so it's fine.
That's right.
We'll just be in like season 4 of Salt the Streets at that point.
We'll be banging. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's directly involving Ukraine. That's mostly the updates. It's continued escalation with military equipment, military aid. The EU sending over another package of financial aid. I think a whole $10 billion. Woo! Well, yeah, good for them. And then the production facility that that's manufacturing the Abrams tanks.
Yes.
I guess they have decided to more or less see about refurbishing some existing ones because that would be to the battlefield much quicker. So they're going to try to
Rather than
refurbish some.
making new ones.
Yeah, instead of kind of fab up some brand new ones. Because, I mean, we got to have some Abrams sitting over in Germany somewhere that are ready to pull off the line and just go. I don't know why. If they're so dead set on, winning this war, which I'm not convinced they are, they're into prolonging it, then why would they not get this much needed equipment to the front lines as quick as possible?
Yeah, there's way more money in fighting the war than there is in winning it.
That's right. Especially if it's not our war.
Nice.
Imagine that. So yeah, we'll see, because obviously there's the whole, spring fighting season or whatever they call it is on the way. So a new front or a new push or whatever it is, the new buildups will be done on both sides, and we'll see what happens after this. I don't know what we're fighting for anymore over there. It's all just a bunch of bombed out, destroyed cities at this point. But hey, that's fun.
Freedom and democracy,
That's right. I mean, Ukraine is nothing if not a bastion of freedom and democracy, right?
1,000%.
1,000%.
Why they're ripping people off the streets to go die on the front lines.
That's right. How dare you try to leave your country? There's a war on, don't you know?
The continually moving and adjusting front lines.
Yes, to regions for regions that probably don't even want to be a part of Ukraine. But we don't talk about that. That's all just propaganda. They don't know they don't want to be a part of Russia. They just don't know. But yeah, that's the major issues with Ukraine. But I think even just outside of that is the meeting between Xi and Putin and the fallout thereof. Because that's really about Ukraine. All this stuff is about Ukraine, or Ukraine is being used at least for a catalyst for it. So this past week, let me pull this up. Screen share. Xi and Vladimir.
The left, just like Washington Post, is claiming that Xi going to visit Putin is like signaling support over what's happening in Ukraine. And I don't necessarily know that that's the case. I don't think that China really benefits from involving itself in active warfare with NATO. You know?
Yeah. Well, if you take a page out of John Kirby's book, essentially China being involved in any level, diplomatically or otherwise, is basically just bolstering Russia at this point, and they're pulling influence away from the United States, because China just brokered some kind of relative peace deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. And that was a huge deal. And we got really offended by that because China shouldn't be sticking their nose where it don't belong. That's our territory. So
that's what they were talking about, breaking points, like the global political capital that China is gaining. And, you know, everyone is going to love them and they're going to stop caring about all the horrible stuff that they're doing and all the whatever. And I don't know if party A hates party B and party B gains political capital, but is still, you know, torturing their own people and putting them in fucking concentration camps, you're kind of a piece of shit if you just forget everything that they're doing because they've gained political capital. Like it doesn't really show that you're a very developed nation or have very strong morals or anything like that. So I don't understand that argument that all of a sudden people that we're arguing are very westernized and very civilized and very everything is going to completely forget all of the horrible humanitarian violations that are happening in China because they brokered peace between two desert nations. I don't get it.
Yeah. And I think the biggest issue that we have with it as the United States anyways, is just the fact that somebody else is essentially doing the job that we used to do, being like the world's peacekeepers and the world's diplomats, and we're the ones that are supposed to be there making peace treaties and all this, and this just gives China more power on the global stage, which is something that we don't really want. So it's bad. Right. China's bad. We can't be allowing them to do that. Besides, we all know they don't have concentration camps in China, Donovan. They have re-education camps.
Oh, right.
Where people get re-educated about the values of the CCP, and their organ donations are just there for the party to give back to the greater good. It's not, you know, criminal in any way. Oh, man. Did we talk at all? I think I talked about it in the beer show a couple weeks ago about the International Criminal Court putting a warrant out for Putin's arrest for war crimes.
We spoke briefly about it.
Okay. Do you have
and I off cast?
Okay. Do we have any deep thoughts about this other than what I probably talked about on the beer show? How it's completely and utterly irrelevant and nobody gives two shits about it.
Yeah. No, it seems completely pointless. He definitely doesn't care. You know.
No, and technically neither do we.
We definitely don't care.
No, because we don't recognize the ICC either, because otherwise, we'd be tried for war crimes.
Right. What's the point of that?
Yeah, George Bush directly said that after he decided not to be involved in the ICC. President Clinton, when it first came about, President Clinton kind of signed on as like to its creation, but never as a member. Yeah, and then we had a whole act called like the Protect Our Troops Act or something like that during the Bush administration that kept us out and essentially gave the United States military the green light to interdict with military force if the ICC ever arrested any of the U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan or any of the other participating nations, which I thought was great. I was like, you're talking, wait, this is a NATO country, right? That you just greenlit military action for because you don't want our troops to be hemmed up over there because of the war crimes that you ordered them to commit. Got it. Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, there's that. So let's get back to China and stuff then. This is from the Daily Mail about the meeting that Xi and Putin had. Xi Jinping delivers a chilling message for the West as he tells, quote, "Dear friend Vladimir Putin, quote, change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving it." On day, Russia despot Putin asked UK, or said UK risks nuclear collision with its aid to Ukraine. Because the UK aid to Ukraine comes in the form of, what's the right word? Fever brain's kicking in. Depleted uranium rounds.
Oh.
Which will now be on the battlefield in Ukraine. Which Vladimir Putin has already said is akin to nuclear war at that point. That's the way he sees it.
Right.
And so yeah, let's
That's
see.
what they say when we do it.
Imagine that.
When we use depleted uranium rounds in the Middle East and they drop in villages, they say, you guys are irradiating innocent people. So you can't have it one way and not the other.
Oh, but we can. We're the West. We could definitely have it our way or the
highway. We double think it.
Because there's been nobody there to challenge us until now. So let's see. China's President Xi Jinping told a grinning Vladimir Putin change is coming in an ominous parting message as he departed Moscow last night following the talks with his Russian counterpart. Change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving this change together, Xi told Putin via his interpreter, words sure to set alarm bells rise in the West. Please take care, dear friend, he added, gripping the Kremlin's leader hand warmly before being waved off by Russia's despot, who bid Xi a safe journey. After the two leaders hailed a new era, Xi's plane left Moscow airport on Wednesday. He was seen off by guard of honor who played the Russian and Chinese national anthems. Russia's RIA Novosti news agency said. In February 2022, the pair announced they had forged a no-limits friendship, and Putin invited Xi to visit Russia's capital. They have since publicly talked of strengthening their special relationship with Moscow and Beijing before rejecting what they say are U.S. attempts to create a unipolar world controlled by Washington. So here's just a couple of photos there from their departing meeting. Everybody's very friendly. I always forget too, like how small Vladimir Putin is, because Xi looks like a beast compared to this old man.
And he's not a big guy, right?
I don't think so, man. But I mean, he looks pretty big compared. Just look at the little guy, man. He's tiny.
Right.
So yeah, that just kind of talks about their enduring friendship. Where's the other thing I had? That's that. Some of the big takeaways here. This is from, he's a big Twitter guy, hosts a lot of spaces on mostly like finance and stuff. But the documents that they signed, kind of concluding their visits, hit on a few key points. China is clearly Russia's top trade and economic partner. Trade and economic cooperation is a priority for our relationship. Russia is prepared to increase its oil and LNG supply to China. China is helping to build atomic stations in China. And the Ukraine-Russia peace plan was also discussed. And Putin said Russia and China strongly oppose violating interests of other countries to gain our own advantage. Some of the things that were in that agreement that they signed. One of the other things to come out of the meeting, this was him talking. I'll just go ahead and read it because it's just in Russian. But already 2/3 of the trade turnover between our two countries is carried out in rubles and yuan, which is the Chinese currency.
Уже 2/3 товарооборота между нашими странами осуществляются в рублях и юанях.
We are for the use of Chinese yuan in settlements between Russia and the countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America. So this is saying that
there's so much Chinese money flowing through Africa.
Yes, and this is just solidifying the fact that they're going to be using more Chinese currency and Russian currency throughout most of their spheres of influence throughout the world at this point, which means the U.S. petrodollar is in trouble. Boom, boom. And I believe, the BRICS nations already are already doing massive deals in other currencies that are not the U.S. dollar. And unfortunately, these aren't Middle Eastern countries that we can just overthrow like Libya when they decide to not want to be on the petrodollar anymore.
Right.
So we're kind of in a tough spot with this one. So I mean, we talked about the 12-point peace plan, more or less, that China presented on the last beer show. I talked about it, went through the 12 points, and it's really just kind of like a standard ceasefire. John Kirby is 100% against it. He doesn't,
of course,
because it would, in his words, it would solidify the gains made by Russia at this point and just put Ukraine on the defensive and give Russia the upper hand in yet another offensive when he would want to, even after the ceasefire. So we have essentially a solidified teaming up of Russia and China again at this point, and the U.S. being totally against any peace talks that we're not directly benefiting from. Seems like a pretty solid situation in my mind.
Seeing a lot of doublethink on this show today.
Yeah.
The same deal is arguing that we shouldn't be policing America and then turning down any peace agreement that we are not involved in.
Yeah. If it
I get
doesn't
it.
benefit
You don't have
us,
to love China, but if they're going to get innocent people to stop dying, is that not what the important part is?
Yeah.
Right? If we can stop any more structural damage, any more infrastructure damage, any more, if we can stop that, isn't that the point? Isn't that actually what we're looking for?
certainly should be. But I think really what this does is just really paint a very clear picture that the United States is not suing for peace, because we're not trying to have a ceasefire here. We're trying to ensure that our influence over Ukraine is solidified and that Russia is put back in the corner where we want them to be.
Right.
And anything contrary to that it's a no-go. We're not doing that, because we're not funding this war so that Ukraine can be free. We're funding this war to maintain our stance at the world's perceived hegemony in the world of power.
Precisely.
That's the only reason that we're into this thing. We don't care about Ukrainians more than we care about anybody else in the former Soviet Union.
We would like to continue to be an integral piece of the structure of how the global economy works.
Oh, yeah. We want to be the BDE in the world. And unfortunately, we just ain't it anymore.
Yeah.
And,
we ain't got the juice.
We ain't got the juice. And I don't, I have mixed emotions about that, obviously, for multiple reasons. But, it's... I think the nations of China and Russia are in a very different place than they were 20, 30, 40 years ago, obviously. And I don't know if anybody's really hell-bent on world domination the way they might have been back during the Soviet era. Or, say, like the Maoist rebellion era. I think very much so that China probably wants to get their piece of Taiwan back. And other than that, I think they're very happy just essentially trying to control the world economically like they do now.
Yeah.
And I think Russia just wants their piece of the pie too. I don't think anybody's going to be trying to roll over Europe or Asia and make, like the Nazis of old and create a Third Reich. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. This is all just about power and influence. And I don't know if I necessarily have a problem with there being a multipolar world like that.
Having multiple. No. No, it doesn't. Based on the amount of damage that we have done around the globe when we were in the position of dominance, it doesn't benefit the globe overall for there to be one power that is so much more. I don't just using the same words over again, but one power that's so much more dominant over all the other ones. It's not beneficial, and that isn't to say that there aren't concerns with there being three big powers, but it doesn't mean that. I don't know. We're not resigned to fighting with the two of them for the rest of forever. Like, this isn't 1984. As much as I've said that it is over this episode, it doesn't have to be totally where it is Oceania versus East Asia versus Eurasia versus forever. You know, that's not. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that they're going to continue to expand. And maybe it all depends on who the leader is at the time. But I just don't get the sense that they're trying to control larger and larger portions of the globe. The only one kind of exception I would make would be Russia, that I can see where they would want to reclaim everything that was once Soviet territory. But, and I'm not defending that or degrading it or whatever, but that's really the only exception that I could think outside of like Taiwan, like you said. I don't think that China is trying to reclaim Japan or I don't know any of the other places that they own at any given time. That's just not how I see geopolitics at this point in time. You know, that's not the messaging I'm getting from those places.
Yeah. Garrett says World War III is incoming is what that meant. They bought our leader, so China should start slowing down their impressive production of coal power plants. What will Benedict, slap in the face, I mean Biden, get from China after we fall from the top? They've already gotten what they want from us, man. And let's put it this way, too. I mean, there is not a world that exists in the future where we do not send billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to China for manufacturing the cheap goods that we all love and enjoy today. China would be very happy with that. I could see that being the case.
That's a massive economic shift.
Yeah.
Just in the function of our economy to try and turn away from manufacturing there completely to another place.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty big.
It would be massive. I mean, we'd have to take a massive cut back on our luxuries for a long time. Things would get very, very expensive. There'd be a lot of things that go missing that we're used to seeing. But inevitably, I mean, it would all catch up eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't think the powers that be would allow it to get to that point. The minute that kind of world becomes a possibility is the day we go to war. And we're like, no, we're not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no good. All right. Any other remarks on China, Russia, good sir?
No, this is sad.
It is very sad. It's very sad. It's a sad thing to watch America fall from grace very, very quickly. So this is, let's get into some grab baggy stuff. This is the video I was telling you about. Let me go screen share again.
Joseph says, it is not just cheap goods coming from China. They make probably 90% of our needed infrastructure materials. For sure. That's what I mean. That's why it's such a massive economic shift away from there. It's the amount of stuff that we get from them. Mexico has become our number one trade partner because they make a ton of our cars and stuff like that. Is like a really good example. But we still do get an immense amount of stuff from China. Especially our green energy stuff, the blades for the turbines, what are the windmills, and the solar panels and all that. Yeah, those most of that stuff is made in China.
Oh yeah, and of course all of our cobalt still comes out of human-run mines in the Congo, which
processed through China.
yeah, which now China owns a lot of those mines too. They own a fair share of the like the shares in those mines, which is always healthy.
Isn't that great?
Isn't that great? But I will say, at least the majority of our like vegetables and things like that mostly come from Mexico. Like all our hothouse, the fact you can go in and get like, hothouse peppers and tomatoes any time of year that you want. That's mostly thanks to Mexico and stuff like that.
Avocado.
You could say that.
Yeah.
You could say that. I can't say that. You are one. I'm just married to one.
That's right.
So this
Marriage doesn't count.
I want you to watch this video, and I want you to tell me something is weird about this. This is a Ukrainian soldier in an abandoned school in the Donbass region.
Great. Oh, this is the Ukrainian soldier.
Yeah. What makes you question that?
Look at the flag. Oh, what are they doing?
He's shooting speakers.
Oh, there's okay.
I think he's using the on his gun there. I think he's got some kind of laser system, and he's got his nods down to be able to do that. But yeah, notice something in particular in this photo, particularly the patch on his arm.
He has an American flag patch on.
Yeah, that seems a little strange, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonder why that is. I wonder why. But also, I thought there was like a severe ammo shortage over in Ukraine. We just get to be just doing some random stupid shit for TikTok over there because we're the mighty Ukrainians. I don't know. It seems weird to me.
That's very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, I do not know why he's wearing the American colors on his arm like that. That seems like it would not be allowed. But hey, whatever. Anything flies in Ukraine. This little piece is very interesting. This comes from Justin Rowland, one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Yes.
He says, I have always known that these claims were false, and I never had any doubt that this day would come. I am thankful that this case has been dismissed, but at the same time, I'm still deeply shaken by the horrible lies that were reported about me during this process. Most of all, I'm disappointed that so many people were so quick to judge without knowing the facts, based solely on the word of an embittered ex trying to bypass due process and have me canceled. That it may have succeeded, even partially, is shameful. However, now that the legal case has ended, I'm determined to move forward and focus both on my creative projects and restoring my good name. So, it was not true then.
His case was dismissed.
Oh my goodness.
And so one half of Rick and Morty, I don't know if he'll be returning in some capacity because he was dropped from Adult Swim. He was dropped from the video game studio he was associated with because they were making they made a whole video game with him. He voiced most of the things. All of his other creative projects he was also canceled from. And now the legal case was dismissed and he's got no charges. So there's that.
It's almost like these are the dangers of Me Too or something.
Almost.
Like that,
Almost like that is the case. Mind you,
man. I
have pulled some clips and seen him say some things on some other podcasts that were very, how would I say this? Real like pedo adjacent.
Yeah.
Which was not a good look. And it definitely added to his cancelization at the same time. But in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. So, technically, nobody's got any reason for him to be canceled anymore. So, we will see what happens.
Let's see who brings him back. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I highly doubt he'll get any kind of real mercy.
Ugh.
But yeah, there is a small glimmer of hope now for some more Rick and Morty. Thank goodness. This next one here came courtesy of the White House. They had in some guys from Ted Lasso the other day. I don't know if you saw the explosive press conference that Kareem Jean-Pierre had with them, in which the reporter from I can't remember the name of his outlet. It's like America News First Africa or something like that. But he's been in the press corps for years, and he finally had a blow up because he never gets called on. He never gets allowed to ask questions. And Kareem Jean-Pierre basically told him to sit down and shut up because, and then the rest of the press corps, all the vets were like, yeah, dude, sit down, shut up, learn your place. And then he got like lit on fire, got a bunch of new Twitter follows, got a appearance on Tucker Carlson, all this stuff. But the same day that this happened, the Ted Lasso guys got into the White House, and obviously there's some sneakers there, there's some non-suits, and our good friend Sagar Enjeti was livid by this. He says, call me old-fashioned, but no man should set foot in the Oval Office without dress shoes, and especially not sneakers. And he goes on later on to kind of elaborate. He doesn't think anybody should be in there without a suit and a tie to include that, because it's just bad decorum. I think this is... I just have news for Sagar to be like, do you think somebody wearing tennis shoes in the Oval Office is the worst thing that's happened in the Oval Office? Do we remember Bill Clinton? Do we remember Monica Lewinsky?
I think that people, when they meet the president, they dress in accordance with the amount of respect that they have for that office, that position, and that guy. If you really think this is like the most serious guy who's doing all this stuff, you would wear a suit. These guys obviously do not think this is that big of a deal. For whatever reason, it's not that big of a deal. Whether it's because it's Biden or because they don't think, they're like whatever libertarian and they're like, being a president is bullshit anyway, or whatever the deal is. They obviously don't think that it's that big of a deal. And Sagar Enjeti is definitely being a pussy.
Yes.
Like there needs to be a dress code to meet a guy, because that's all he is. He's a guy.
But it's the sanctity of the office. The sanctity.
He's just a guy. I think Joe Biden is probably, I was going to say he's not a better person than I am. He's probably almost definitely a worse person than I am.
Yeah.
Don't care.
100%.
Just don't care. Like, this doesn't matter to me. And I shouldn't. No one has the right to tell me, if you want to meet this person, you need to dress a certain way. That seems ludicrous to me.
No. If I'm going in there, dude, I don't wear flip-flops, but I'm wearing flip-flops, cargo shorts, and like an American flag tank top. That's where I'm at with that.
For me, it depends entirely on who the person is. If I was going to meet Joe Biden, I probably would dress how I do on a regular day.
Maybe with a plate carrier.
Maybe. Yeah, I know. I would wear a sweatshirt and I would wear jeans and probably dirty sneakers. I wouldn't even buy new sneakers. I would wear dirty sneakers. And like, this is what we're doing today.
Yeah. I mean, how much blood has been greenlit to be spilled just in that office alone?
In that chair.
Yeah. How many innocent people's lives have been greenlit to be taken from that chair?
Yes.
Probably millions, I would assume, at this point. So I hate to say it, Sagar, but you can't have it both ways, buddy. You can't. I mean, he's a shill for the non-existent sanctity of Washington anyway, so.
Right.
It doesn't surprise me, but it's like, bro, out of all the things, this is going to be the hill that you refuse to. This is the hill that you're going to die on, huh? Okay. Got it. I see how serious you are about things. Oh, this one's great. Okay. This one, I believe, is the. Oh, we'll save that one for last because it's really fun. I'm going to jump over here. This is. We were going to talk a little bit about this earlier, but over in France, they're having all these riots and stuff like that because they really hate Emmanuel Macron and other things.
You're right.
These are French cops.
Tension related this time.
Yes.
Pension and retirement related.
Yeah, yeah, he did it without a vote, and he kind of circumvented the legislature and all this stuff. But these are French cops on four-wheelers, one driving, and the others are shooting rubber bullets as they speed around.
What the shit?
Oh yeah, baby, that's how they're doing it in France right now. This actually, it's the same. This is the same protest where this was happening.
Yo.
And just wait, that's not just one. They'll pan out in a minute.
These guys are crazy.
Oh yeah,
I like it.
it's all the cops are retreating and all
Yeah,
this good stuff.
They fuck around in France, huh?
Yeah, French know how to riot, bro. It's wild over there, and it's still going on. Some crazy stuff over there. I've seen some crazy photos. Just nuts. And it's gotten so bad at this point, half the cops and stuff like that are like putting down their batons and taking their helmets off and then like joining the crowd. Whether
It's
that's
not
for
worth it.
self-preservation or they're actually joining the side, who knows? But all right,
Yeah.
now this is the fun one. Just to add to the on to the pile of how Erie, Pennsylvania sucks because we're Wild Wings fans. This is Mercyhurst University hockey player Carson Briere, who is also the son of Philadelphia Flyers interim general manager Danny Briere, has been charged in connection with pushing a woman's wheelchair down the steps of a bar
fuck.
in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh, there's a video. Oh God.
So this is the guy. He's like fucking
Oh,
around with his
okay,
wheelchair.
okay. I thought she was in it. Like I thought that he like.
Yeah, nah, but we'll just put it down over there. So
Well, I
just-
wonder where the woman is.
Yeah, I don't know where the woman is.
Is she in the bathroom or something?
That's my guess. But for YMH value, man, we got to add that to the pile of why Erie, Pennsylvania sucks.
Right. Okay. So it is really fucked up. It's also pretty funny. Like I would never do that. I would never do that because that's really fucked up.
That's super fucked
But-
up.
But the idea that someone would just be like, "Oh, fuck it," and just dump it down the stairs, like that's pretty funny.
Bro.
But also, you are a piece of shit for doing that.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, he's got charges coming because I guess you can't be doing that.
Oh no! What are
Oh,
the
yeah.
charges? What does it say? Do you know?
No, let me click on the
Oh my
story and see
God.
if there's a. Let's actually read the
What
story
a
here.
jackass!
Let me pull this up again. Come on. Choo. Okay, so Erie, PA, Carson Bree's son. Yep. In connection with pushing a disabled woman's wheelchair down the steps at a bar, Kirsten, who plays hockey at Mercyhurst University in Erie, was charged with criminal mischief,
Ooh,
disorderly conduct, and related offenses. So there
got
you go.
him.
Yeah. He also plays on the men's lacrosse team. Was also hit with the same. Oh, his buddy there that helped him do that. Same
Took the woman
offenses in connection.
downstairs to use the staff bathroom.
That's fucked up, bro. Security took the woman downstairs to use staff bathroom, according to Nate Sander, the head of security at Sullivan's. While she was downstairs, he pushed the wheelchair. Don't be a dick,
That's
bro.
super fucked up.
Yeah, don't be a dick. And did you hear that Erie's favorite weatherman is no longer going to be in Erie, Pennsylvania?
What? Where's he going?
Oh, he got transferred. He got some new job in like Tennessee or something like that.
Ah,
Yeah. He wrote a heartfelt message on Twitter about it, and I was like, "Oh, poor guy."
oh no!
Now he's going to go to now. The arc is over because now we can't have any more Erie, Pennsylvania weatherman stuff because he's no longer the weatherman at Erie, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
which is sad for everybody involved in my eyes. So there's that. And that's the extent of the grab bag today, my good sir.
I like it, man. I like it a lot.
A lighthearted Erie, Pennsylvania deep cut right at the end.
I appreciate it. We need to end on lighthearted things.
Indeed, because the China Russia stuff is super depressing.
Yes.
And who is our last ad to close out the show?
Location Skate Shop is the final sponsor for the show.
Fantastic.
If you are ever in Bremerton, in downtown Bremerton, you need any type of skateboarding goods, go to Location Skate Shop. They have, of course, all kinds of gear and stuff like that as well. It's a great place for the community. So
fantastic.
Go there. Yeah, this has been a great episode. Of course, it was different. It was shorter. It was whatever. But Plague Cast Extraordinaire or Plague Cast Extreme or Special, whatever we're calling this, I like it. So I think it's good. I think it turned out well. I want to thank everybody for being here with us. I want to thank you for sticking around. We'll be back next time in full force.
Full force.
Barring some type of natural disaster or something like that, we will be back in studio in a very short amount of time, less than 2 months.
Yep.
We will be recording at my house.
Woo.
Not in this room here because it's too small, but on the other side of this wall here. We'll be in there. It'll be great.
It'll be a full-on studio setup.
That's right. That's right. So with that, I want to thank everyone one last time for joining us, and I want to tell you again to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, comment, tell everybody about it, subscribe to the Patreon. $5 gets you access to the article. There are other tiers as well. We also have our own personal social media. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. And Colin is at Big Bird Coffee on both of those things. And you can find all of this at saltofthestreets.com, including our Instagram and YouTube. With that, thank you one last time. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for another episode of Salt of the Streets.
Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.